Now, what about destructors? Well, destructors are called in the reverse order. So the destructor of derived classes are called before the base class. Let's see this in action. So here in the widget class, I'm going to add a destructor and define it. Now, just like before, we're going to print a message and say widget destructed. Now we're going to do the same in the text box class. So after the constructors, we add a destructor. Then we define it. And once again, we print a message and say text box destructed. Okay, now back to our main file. Look, we have a compilation error here because as part of creating a text box object, we have to supply a Boolean value. So we have to initialize this with true. But this is really ugly in terms of framework design. Why do we have to pass a Boolean value to create a text box object? We should assume that all these widgets are enabled by default. So this is really bad design. Now the reason we have this is because we were talking about constructors and I wanted to cover various scenarios so you really understand how they work. So going forward, I'm going to delete these constructors. We don't really need them. So first we go to the widget class. This is the root of the problem. Why do we have to specify if a widget is enabled or not ahead of time? So let's delete this. And we should also delete the definition right here. Now, back to the text box class. We don't need to inherit the constructors of the widget. And we don't really need this other constructor either. So delete. Now, finally, in our implementation file, let's remove this constructor. Okay. Back to our main file. Now we can create a text box object without any values. Let's see what happens when we run this program. So first you can see the text box was destructed and then the widget was destructed. Now again, in this case, we don't really need these destructors because in these classes, we are not using any system resources. We are not using memory or file. So going forward, I'm going to delete them. So here in the widget class, delete. We delete from here and one more time in the text box class. Good.